Good day, everyone. Welcome to our forum discussion. My name is Nur Azara Husna, and I will be your moderator for today. So, today we'll focus on Malaysia's youth mental health crisis in line with SDG 3, good health and well-being. So today, we'll explore this different perspective of mental health, including psychologist's perspective, academic perspective, society perspective, and youth perspective. This topic is relevant to youth and community. According to World Health Organization, WHO 2022, mental health is a state of mental well-being that enables people to cope with the stresses of life, realize their abilities, work well and learn well, and contribute to their community. I would like to introduce our four incredible panelists. Our first panelist would be Miss Elisha Khadija, will be presenting psychological perspective. Next, Miss Ain Alisha will be presenting academic perspectives. Our third panelist would be Miss Farah Nur Amira, society perspective, and our last panelist, Miss Shahira Nabila, will present youth perspective. Let's begin our forum discussion. I will start with Miss Elisha Khadija. So, Miss Elisha, how would you describe the importance of mental health among youth in Malaysia from psychologist's lens?
Assalamualaikum and good day. I'm Elisha, and as your first panelist, I will be presenting psychological perspective. Today, I stand before you to highlight an issue of growing importance, the mental health of our youth in Malaysia. As we strive for a healthier, more resilient nation, is it crucial that we recognize the role of psychological perspective in understanding and addressing the challenge faced by our youth people. The main issue that I will be talking about is the importance of psychology perspective. Psychological perspectives are not just academic theories. They are vital tools that help us comprehend the complexity of human thought and behavior. By embracing this perspective, we gain deeper insight into the factors that influence mental health. This understanding is essential for improving problem solving, fostering empathy, and developing effective treatment and intervention. In short, psychological perspective form the foundation upon which we can build a more compassionate and effective mental health system. The article that I have gathered is from the article Malaysia Youth at Risk, a review of mental health and maladaptive behavior, highlights that the Malaysian youth are increasingly affected by mental health problems and maladaptive behavior due to rapid societal change and various stresses in the modern world. Their findings underscore the urgent need to address this challenge as a mental issue among youth people can also have a long-term consequence that persists into adulthood. Other than that, the Malaysian government has taken significant steps to improve mental health service. Initiatives such as the Malaysian Mental Health Strategic Plan, the integration of mental health into primary care, and various awareness campaigns have laid the groundwork for progress. However, the mental health crisis among our youth remains a pressing concern. Recent study for Straining Minds Malaysia's training effort to enhance the mental health of children and adolescents has indicated rising rates depression, anxiety, and mental and emotional dysregulation among Malaysian adolescents. The COVID-19 pandemic has further exacerbated this issue, highlighting the urgent need for targeted intervention. To address this challenge, I propose the following key action. First thing first, early intervention is crucial. By identifying and addressing mental health issues at a young age, we can prevent their progression into a more severe psychiatric disorder later in life. School, parent, healthcare providers must work together to recognize warning signs and provide timely support. It is also advisable to implement systematic screening for emotional disturbance and dysregulation among Malaysian youth. This screening should be integrated into all preventive and interventional programs to ensure that no young people falls through the cracks. We must train our mental health information system by collecting and analyzing data. We can better understand the need of our population and evaluate the effectiveness of existing programs. This evidence-based approach will enable us to allocate resources more efficiently and design interventions that truly make a difference. Raising awareness about mental health and reducing stigma is essential. Educational campaigns should target not only youth but also parents, teachers, and the wider community. By fostering environment of understanding and support, we empower young people to seek help without fear or shame. In conclusion, addressing the young mental health crisis in Malaysia requires a multi-phase approach grounded in psychological perspective. By prioritizing early intervention, systematic screening, robust information system, and widespread awareness, we can pave the way for a healthier, more resilient generation.
Thank you so much, Miss Alicia, for your insightful sharing. I fully agree that psychological perspectives are truly important in helping us understand the root causes behind youth mental health challenges. Early intervention, systematic screening, and awareness campaigns are indeed crucial steps that can make a huge difference in preventing more serious issues in the future. Now, we will continue with our second panelist, Miss Ain Alisha. From an academic perspective, how does high pressure environment in schools and university affect the mental health of Malaysian youth? And what are some possible ways to reduce these negative impacts?
Thank you, moderator. Good day, everyone. I am Nur Ain Alisha. I will be continuing by presenting from academic perspective on how high pressure environment are affecting the mental health of Malaysian youth and what can be done to reduce this impact. Academic view high pressure environment, especially those related to school performance and a family expectation, as one of the leading causes of a mental health issue in Malaysian youth. This kind of pressure builds up over time and often result in emotional problems like anxiety, depression, or even suicidal thought, especially when young people lack of healthy support system. So I use two academic resources to support my perspective. The first one is from Ibrahim, 2024, The Development of Adolescent Mental Health Services in Malaysia, a review published in Adolescent Psychiatry. The second one is from Lu, 2023, Understanding Mental Health Trend in Malaysia, a descriptive analysis of national data from 2017 to 2021, published in the Malaysian Journal of Public Health Medicine. These references were chosen because they give both a broad understanding and strong local data. Ibrahim focused on how mental health services are being developed in Malaysia and also link our national issue to global statistics from WHO. Lu provides evidence through Malaysian survey data, highlighting the real trend among youths, especially those in urban areas and secondary schools. Together, this article helps justify the concern that high pressure is not just a feeling, it is a proven factor in declining youth mental health. The main issue is that many students today feel like they cannot fail academically, socially, and personally. When the pressure becomes too much and there is no space to express their feeling, emotion, they begin to feel overwhelmed, disconnected, and or even hopeless. So I can conclude that pressure and unrealistic expectation as not just stressful. They are harmful, and the data have clearly support this. And we truly want to see, if we truly want to see our youth thrive, we must shift the focus from just performance to well-being. It's time for school, family, and society to recognize mental health as a priority, not an afterthought. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ain, for the informative sharing. I completely agree that academic pressure is one of the key contributors to youth mental health issue today. As you mentioned, the feeling of not being allowed to fail, combined with heavy workloads and high expectation, can be overwhelming for many students. Now, let's move on to another very important angle, which is the role of society and culture in shaping youth mental health. I would like to invite our third panelist, Ms. Farah Nur Amira, to share her insight from the society perspective.
Thank you, Miss Azara. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope you are all doing great. It's such an honor to be here with such esteemed panelists. I am Fariner Amira, and I will be speaking from the society's perspective on the mental health crisis among Malaysian youth, especially how cultural stigma and silence continue to shape the way we talk about, or more often don't talk about, mental illness. Now, when we think about youth mental health, we often zoom in on the individuals, what they are feeling, how they are coping. But I think it's time we also turn the mirror towards society itself, because the truth is, our community plays a huge role in shaping how youth respond to mental health struggles, and sometimes we are doing more harm than good. In many Malaysian communities, mental illness is still a topic that is swept under the rug. We are told not to talk about our feelings, to tahan, or just pray it away. Emotions are kept behind closed doors, and when youth open up, they risk being labeled as overdramatic, or even worse, gila or kurang iman. And the result, many young people suffer in silence, not because they don't want help, but because they are scared of being judged. That fear is very real. According to the Malaysian Youth Mental Health Index 2023, 4.76% of youth are afraid to even admit they are receiving treatment, and that says a lot. Even when they muster the courage to seek professional help, they still feel the need to hide it just to avoid being labeled. And this stigma is not just about words. It's about silence. It's about the fact that mental illness is still the elephant in the room in many homes, schools, and communities. A 2024 study led by Suhardi et al. Offers compelling evidence of this issue. They interviewed university students receiving treatment, and one of them said, mental illness is not a usual topic to discuss, so it's made it harder to open up. And I think that line hit homes. It proves that when society does not talk, young people feel like they cannot either, and that silence becomes louder than the problem itself. So where do we go from here? What society can actually do? To begin with, we need to normalize emotional conversations in education. One way is by integrating mental health topics into subjects, for instance, Pendidikan Islam and Pendidikan Moral, where students are already taught about values and inner strength. So why not include emotional well-being in that conversation too? Another important step is equipping parents, teachers, and community leaders with the skills to recognize distress and respond with compassion, not with judgment or religious guilt. It's not enough to tell someone to just pray. They also need understanding. It's not enough to say, be strong. Sometimes what youth need to hear is, I see you. Let's talk. Beyond that, awareness efforts should not just stay online, because real change does not happen in hashtags. It happens in hearts, in conversations, and in the everyday spaces where people live, feel, and belong. And perhaps most importantly, we need to make mental health services accessible, not just physically, but emotionally. One simple example would be having a mental health corner in schools or campuses, a place where students can talk freely, access resources, or just take a break from emotional overwhelm. These spaces do not have to be fancy, they just have to be safe. Perhaps Miss Alicia can expand on this from a psychological point of view.
All right, thank you, Miss Farah. If I may add something before Miss Farah finish, from a psychological standpoint, human has fundamental need to belong and feel emotionally safe in their environments. According to Maslow's hierarchy of need, after psychological and safety needs are met, the need for belongingness and love become crucial for mental health well-being. When people feel accepted and understood, it fosters resilience and reduces feeling of isolation and anxiety. In school and campuses, where young people often face academic pressure, social challenges, and identity development, having a dedicated mental health corner can serve as a vital space that nurtures this sense of belonging and emotional safety. All right, I'd like to pass to Ms. Farah to continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Alicia, for your insightful input. As you mentioned, emotional safety plays a vital role, and this is exactly where society has the power to step up or stay silent. Because at the end of the day, society can either be a support system or a source of silence. If we continue ignoring this issue, we will keep pushing youth further into isolation. But if we shift From judgment to empathy, from silence to support, we are not only helping individuals, we are building a culture that truly cares. And if we are serious about achieving SDG 3, which is good health and well-being, then mental health cannot be an afterthought. It must be embedded in our homes, our education systems, and in every conversation that shapes our society. So that is all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Elisha and Ms. Farah Nur Amira, for highlighting how cultural stigmas and societal silence can strongly affect our mental health, our youth mental health. After hearing from the psychologists, academic, and society perspectives, let's now hear directly from the youth themselves. I would like to invite our fourth panelist, Ms. Shahira Nabila, to share her views and experiences from the youth perspectives.
Thank you, Ms. Azara. Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. I'm Shahira Nabila and I will elaborate this topic from youth perspective. I think most of us here as students can really relate to this topic. The constant pressure to perform in school, to make high expectations, and to always aim for the best. Sometimes it feels like we are only allowed to succeed and there's no room for mistakes. This kind of pressure doesn't just come out from teachers and our parents, but also can come from ourselves, from society, and from the system that measures our worth by our grades. It makes us feel like we are constantly expected to achieve more, to do better, and to never fail. As I'm a student myself, I can tell you that academic pressure is not just about getting homework done on time. This kind of pressure can deeply affect our mental health. It is about the heavy emotional weight that follow us every single day. A research from Adolescent Counseling Service in 2024 shows that academic pressure can seriously harm mental health. It can cause anxiety, depression, and also burnout among youth. But why is this happening and where is this pressure really coming from? Well, it can come from everywhere. From parents who only praise us when we get straight A's, from teachers who focus more on grades than on learning, from friends who seem to always perform better, and even from society, which sometimes make us feel like our value is only in our academic success. And sometimes the worst pressure can come from ourselves. We push ourselves to perfect, we get scared to fail, we feel like we are never enough, we overthink small mistakes, we stay up late to finish assignment, and we feel guilty when we rest. All of this builds up and slowly we start to lose our motivation. We study because we are afraid to fail, not because we want to learn. And this is where our mental health begins to break down. A study by Thompson in 2024 also found that students under extreme academic pressure often lose interest in learning. It's not that we are lazy, but it's that we are exhausted. When we are forced to chase results all the time, school starts to feel like a competition instead of a safe place to grow. And so, what can we do about this and what are the solutions? And one of the best solutions recommended is the whole school, whole community, whole child model, or we can call it WSCC model. This is where schools, community, and families work together to create a safe and supporting environment for students, not just focusing on academic results, but also on our emotional well-being. But from us as students, we actually wish there are some real changes. Firstly, we wish that school feels like safe space. We want schools where it is okay to make mistakes, where we are not judged by grades, but where teachers appreciate our effort, our creativity, and our progress, even if we don't get perfect results all the time. Other than that, we also need teachers and parents that really listen to us. Sometimes when we feel I'm stressed or I'm tired, we don't need people to say it's just part of life. We want people to understand us, to hear us out, and to support us emotionally, not just push us to do more. Other than that, we also need balance in our study. It's not wrong to expect us to work hard, but we also want enough time to rest, to spend time with family and friends, and also to enjoy life outside of school. We don't want to live in a cycle of study, sleep, and repeat. Next, we also need school and parents that work together. When the parents and teachers talk to each other, it helps us to feel safer because then both sides can understand our real struggles, not just our grades, but also our feelings. And last but not least, we also need mental health support that is easy to access. Some schools may have counselors, but many students don't feel comfortable going to counselors. We want to have a space, maybe press support school or mental health clubs where we can talk freely without being judged. At the end of the day, we as youth have dreams. We want to succeed and build our future, but we want to succeed in a way that doesn't break us inside. We want to feel happy, balanced, and supported along the way. But we cannot do it alone. We need help to carry this pressure. We need schools, parents, and even society to work together to make sure that we are not crushed by the weight of unrealistic expectations. Success is not just about grades, but it's about how strong, happy, and supported we feel throughout the journey. So for me, thank you.
I completely agree with Miss Shahira just said. The truth is, students can carry this burden alone. So the question is, what can we actually do to support them? To address this issue, expert has suggested 5 key strategies that can really help young youth to cope better with this kind of issue. Let's go through one by one. First, experts suggest include mental health education in schools by teaching students how to manage stress, recognize their emotion, and also ask for help. We can reduce the chances of emotional breakdown. This create awareness from a young age and make mental health a normal topic to talk about. Second, academics also recommend to train teachers to be more emotionally support. Teachers are not just there to deliver lessons, they are often the first one to notice when something is wrong. With the right training, they can offer guidance to further support without judgment. Third, we need to build a safe environment in both school and home settings. This means encouraging open conversation, accepting students even when they make mistakes, and making sure they feel emotionally secure, not fearful of punishment or comparison. Fourth, reduce academic workload pressure. While learning and achieving are important, schools should be careful not to overload students with unrealistic deadlines, constant exam, or endless extra classes. A balanced workload helps students stay focused on and mentally healthy. Fifth, the last one, it is around awareness campaign, especially through schools program and social media. Campaign can break the stigma around mental health and show students that it's okay to speak up, whether through posters, talks, or even Instagram content. This effort helps create a culture of care and understanding. In the end, supporting youth mental health isn't just a nice idea. It is a necessity. With the right step, we can create an environment where success doesn't come at the expense of well-being. Let's work together to ensure no one is left to struggle alone on their journey.
Thank you for those clear and meaningful strategies. It shows that there are real solutions we can work on to improve the mental health of students in Malaysia. Based on the academic perspective you presented, what do you think is the biggest challenge in actual applying those five proposed solutions, and especially in schools? And how can we overcome it?
I think the biggest challenge is the lack of proper support to actually apply this solution. For example, we talk about mental health education and teachers training, but many schools don't have enough resources or time, and teachers are also already overwhelmed. So to fix this, we need real support from Ministry of Education, more funding, training, and also clear policies that make mental health a real part of school life and not just an add-on. So at the end of the day, it's all about action, not just words. If we want to protect the mental health of the youth, we need to make real changes, not just only on paper. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all our panelists for that insightful and meaningful sharing. Today, we have explored Malaysia's youth mental health crisis from four important perspectives, which is psychological, academic, society, and youth own experiences. From early intervention, life pressures, cultural stigma, to the voices of youth themselves, we can clearly see that this issue is complex and requires collaboration from all levels, individuals, families, schools, communities, and policymakers. Mental health is not just about treating illness, but about creating supportive environments where our youth feel safe, heard, and valued. As highlighted throughout the discussion, we need early prevention, open conversations, supportive parents, and policies that truly prioritize youth well-being. With that, I would like to sincerely thank our panelists, Ms. Elisha Khadija, Ms. Ain Alisha, Ms. Farah Nur Amira, and Ms. Shahira Nabila for their thoughtful contribution. And thank you to our audience for your attention and participation. That concludes our forum for today. Have a great day, and may we all continue to advocate for better mental health for our youth. Thank you.